Good morning, everybody. Folks, how are you doing? I'm excited to be here this morning, and I hope and pray that what I share helps you to avoid the same mistakes that I've made. And so, yeah, I don't know if you guys have ever used Boom Boom, but the stuff works actually really, really good. I have a lot of allergies. I don't know why it's so bad, but so I use this and it seems to help. But so my name is Troy. I live here in Phoenix, Arizona. Pocahontas is on. Marcy Bridges, how are you doing? And so, hello everyone jumping on my live. Okay, I'm really glad that you guys are here this morning. And do I want to pin this? Let's pin this. Why not? All right. So I'm really glad that you guys are hopping on this live this morning. As people are coming on, I want to ask you guys a very quick question. Okay, let me make this a little smaller. JD, thank you for the follow. Okay, so if you struggle with low energy, with stubborn weight, with cravings, or with blood sugar issues, if you wouldn't mind, type one word in the chat. Okay, type one word in the chat right now. Type energy, weight, cravings, or diabetes. Faye, thank you. I'm not sure what made you say that, but Jasmine, thank you for hopping on this live. But if you guys struggle with energy, with your weight, with your blood sugar issues or cravings or anything else, if you wouldn't mind, put that in the chat. Okay. Now, I always like seeing what people are dealing with when they jump on these lives because it helps guide the conversation. So JD, so you've got diabetes, okay? So I'm going to talk about this. What I'm going to talk about is how you can start to improve insulin sensitivity naturally, okay? So I hope that you guys will stay on here. Feel free to drop your questions in the chat. And my hope and my prayer is that what I share helps you to avoid the same mistakes that I've made. So the reason why I asked this question is because most people don't realize that many of those health problems that we have today come from one root issue. And it's something that's affecting millions of people today. That issue is insulin resistance. Now, most of you, if you've never heard of the word insulin resistance, I would encourage you to Google it and research it because this is going to be a hot health topic for years to come. Okay? Folks, when insulin stays elevated in the body most of the day, your body literally becomes stuck in fat storage mode. And this means that your body struggles with the ability to start burning your stored FAT. Okay? So Jasmine, yes, we're talking about diabetes. We're talking about what causes diabetes, right? When insulin stays elevated in the body for most of the day, okay, your body gets stuck in that storage mode. Okay, here's an easy principle to remember when it comes to insulin. When insulin is high, your body is storing energy. When insulin is low, your body is burning your stored energy. Does that make sense? So if we've got the belly, if we've got the love handles, if we have the excess belly fat, if we've got the weight, maybe that we're trying to get rid of, okay? When insulin is high, it's going to be really, really hard for you to burn that, okay? So we've got to lower your insulin, okay? And so when insulin's high, your body's just stuck in that storage mode, okay? When that happens, okay, when insulin is high all the time, people often feel tired during the day. They crave sugar or carbs. And people struggle to lose weight even when they are trying really, really hard. Okay. Jovita, how are you? So most people think that their issue is simply calories. But for many people, the real issue happens to be how your body is not only handling insulin, but handling your blood sugar. So this morning, I'm going to show you the simple metabolic protocol, okay, that has completely changed my health. But before I explain that, I want to tell you why this topic became so personal for me, okay? At one point in my life, okay, my health was headed in the wrong direction, okay? My family history with health has been very difficult. My dad passed away early. He passed away on Easter Sunday, 2017. My brother passed away when he was 33 years old. And at one point, I was dealing with stage 4 kidney disease. Okay. Cat and Cats, thank you for your comment. Some of you know my story, right? Back in November of 2014, I donated a kidney to my sister's husband. And I'm grateful for that. I'm very honored to have been able to do that. But it was 7 years later when I was diagnosed with what is called stage 4 kidney disease. And my nephrologist said, Troy, if you don't lose weight, if you don't change your diet, you're going to end up on dialysis or worse. And so my doctor gave me meds. Now, maybe the medications work for you. They didn't work for me. So after like 2.5 months of using something, a couple things that didn't work, I stopped taking it. And it was no joke. It was 2.5 years later when a really good friend of mine reached out completely out of the blue and shared something that has forever changed my life. And I'm super grateful for this knowledge. And my hope and my prayer is that I share it with you so that you avoid the same mistakes that I've made. And if what I share with you resonates with you, and if you're looking for an alternative to improve your health, then I hope and pray that that you'll pay attention to what it is that I'm sharing. Okay? Because no one in my family had diabetes, but metabolic problems was everywhere. We all had insulin resistance, right? And watching that happen forced me to start asking a serious question. Why are so many people getting sick even when they're trying to eat better? And what I eventually discovered is that many people are dealing with something called insulin resistance, and they don't even realize it. Okay? Most people that have it don't even know that they have it. Insulin resistance, ladies and gentlemen, can develop years or even decades before someone is ever diagnosed with diabetes. So, why does that matter? That matters because your blood sugar may still look normal when you go to a doctor, but your insulin levels are elevated behind the scenes, and nobody's looking at that. When you go to a doctor, they usually check your glucose levels, your blood sugar levels. But did you guys know that your fasting insulin, your insulin levels is what controls your blood sugar levels? But they don't check your fasting insulin. They only check your glucose. And so, your insulin could be elevated behind the scenes. And when that's elevated for a long period of time, your body becomes really, really, really good at storing FAT. So your body's good at storing energy, but very inefficient at burning it. Okay. So if you're struggling to lose weight, it's probably because your insulin levels are high. This is one of the reasons why people start experiencing fatigue or cravings, and weight gain that almost seems impossible to reverse. So once I learned how insulin works in the body and how to stabilize your blood sugar, everything began to change. My energy improved. And Kelly, Joe, thank you for the follow. Brenda, thank you for the follow as well. But once I started to understand what insulin resistance was and how insulin played a role in my body, how to stabilize my blood sugar naturally, everything changed. My sleep changed. I'm sleeping better than I ever have. My energy improved. My metabolism improved. And that's why I'm so passionate about teaching this, folks, because you could have the symptoms of insulin resistance and not even know it. This is why I share this with people all over the world, okay? And so let me ask you something, okay? I'm not sure why this is wants to close on me. It's so weird. Okay? Let me ask everyone something who's watching. Okay? And Alejandro Saavedra, 32 years old, right? Having to go through that's tough, right? But here's the thing, our bodies are pretty amazing, right? Sorry, guys. Our bodies have the ability to improve its and repair itself if we give it the right environment to do so. So let me ask everyone watching right now, how many of you feel like you get really tired in the afternoon? If that happens to you, type tired in the chat. If you get tired in the afternoon, especially after eating a meal, feel free to type that in the chat. Rolf, thank you. I used to get tired all the time. You know, you might be sitting in a meeting at work and you start to doze off, right? And it's hard. It's like you can't function. It's just like you just want to curl up in the fetal position and go to sleep, take a nap, you know? And so one of the biggest signs of insulin resistance is something I call the blood sugar roller coaster. And Showstopper and Brenda, thank you. Okay. One of the biggest signs of insulin resistance is something I call the blood sugar roller coaster. Now, someone eats something high, okay, in refined carbs or sugars, and let's say that they're eating this first thing in the morning. Here's what's going to happen. Your blood sugar is going to go through the roof. And then your pancreas sees this spike, and it's going to spike insulin to bring that blood sugar back down. That's what's supposed to happen. But sometimes insulin overshoots, and now your blood sugar drops too low. And when your blood sugar drops too low, when that happens, the body starts craving quick energy again, usually in the form of sugar and carbs, right? So what we're doing is every single day, this cycle repeats. Blood sugar spike, insulin spike, energy crash, the cravings. And many people literally go through this every single day without even realizing it. Now, here's something interesting that most people never hear. There are actually 3 hormones that control fat storage in the body. Did you know that? There's 3. And Romina, thank you for the follow, okay? These hormones are insulin, glucagon, and cortisol. Now, insulin, folks, remember, when insulin's high, your body is storing energy. So insulin stores energy. Glucagon releases the stored energy, right? And then cortisol is what helps to regulate your stress and your blood sugar balance. But ladies and gentlemen, when insulin stays elevated all day long, your body has a really hard time accessing that stored energy, the stored FAT. One of the things that I teach people is fasting. And Nadu and Jeremy, thank you for the follow. When insulin levels drop, especially during fasting periods, and all this means is that you're going longer periods of time between food, right? Without eating anything, okay? What happens is that your glucagon can signal the body to start releasing your stored energy. If you're somebody who's been trying to lose weight for a really long time and you're struggling, the best way to do it is to get your insulin under control. Because the moment we lower insulin, guess what happens? Your body will literally start burning that stored FAT. And AMGs, I mean, obviously we're not talking about starving here, right? Okay. And Shirley Stanley, I don't know why that name sounds familiar, but that plays a big role in helping to even reduce inflammation, right? You know what's interesting is that there's two tests in humans that doctors don't traditionally test: fasting insulin and chronic inflammation. So Shirley, I really appreciate your question. Chronic inflammation and it's crazy to think that those are the two that they don't check: your fasting insulin and chronic inflammation. Doctors test what they can medicate. So when insulin stays elevated all day long, the body's going to have hard time, okay? If weight is your issue, lower your insulin. Your body will naturally start to lose that belly FAT, right? The love handles, okay? So that's one of the reasons why intermittent fasting can be such a powerful tool for anybody who's trying to improve their health. Now, let me ask you guys another question. And Sharika, thank you for the follow, okay? How many of you deal with cravings at night? And Ava, I'm going to talk about it. I love fasting, okay? But how many of you deal with cravings at night? If that happens to you, would you mind type cravings in the chat? If that's you, type cravings in the chat. Okay, Rico, Nisa, and Nisi. Thank you. Okay, user 1800, Tamari, Messeri, cravings. Okay, I used to crave sugar, especially late at night. It would be a bowl of cereal, which I don't eat cereal anymore, or it would be a bowl of ice cream. Now I still eat ice cream, and I will never comply to tyrants. How are you doing? Appreciate you hopping on this live, right? So I used to crave sugar all the time, especially late at night. Now, most people think cravings are a willpower issue, okay? But most of the time, cravings are actually a metabolic signal, okay? When your blood sugar has been unstable all day long, what happens is that your brain begins demanding quick energy, okay? That's when people are craving things like sugar and bread and pasta and snacks, especially late at night, okay? When your blood sugar becomes more stable, which is what we want, those cravings will often decrease dramatically, okay? And so one of the things that has tremendously helped me was learning about fiber, okay? Some of us don't think about this, okay? I love that, okay? How can I solve lunchtime strike? When you say lunchtime strike, let me know what you're talking about, okay? Because I just want to make sure I'm on the same page so I can answer appropriately. But there's two things that I teach people, really three things. Number one, fasting. Number two is fiber. And number three is making sure that you have the right tools, okay? Having the right tools can make a big difference, right? If you're trying to fix your car, but you don't have the right tools, okay, you're not going to get very far, okay? One of the most important things that our body is lacking is fiber. Now, how many of you knew this, that the food industry back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, they started intentionally taking fiber out of our foods. They're stripping fiber out of our foods. And they did this to increase the shelf life. I want you guys to remember something. When the shelf life of your food goes up, your blood sugar and your lifespan goes down. Folks, I want you to understand 93% of the United States population has some level of insulin resistance. But insulin resistance doesn't just increase your risk for these health issues that you're seeing up here. They actually shorten your lifespan. Folks, you can improve your health. It's amazing what can happen when we give our body the right tools and the right environment. So when I started to learn more about fiber, fiber plays a huge role in stabilizing your blood sugar. Okay? When fiber is present, it's going to slow down how quickly the glucose enters your bloodstream. And Jason, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Okay? So it's going to slow down how quickly the glucose enters the bloodstream. And that means that blood sugar rises more gradually. Okay? Insulin doesn't spike as dramatically. And what happens is that your energy remains more stable. Now, unfortunately, many people today are extremely low in fiber. Okay? Many processed foods, ultra processed foods that we have, okay, they've had the fiber completely removed, okay, which causes blood sugar to spike very quickly, which is why we eat more and more and more, right? And I Will Never Comply says, don't eat anything in a box, can of processed foods, right? A lot of the foods that we unfortunately eat today is either in a can or a box, okay? Newfie Girl, thank you for the follow, okay? Folks, I think it is so important for us to understand why we have these health issues, but most importantly, what can we do to start improving it? Our body is pretty amazing, okay? I would consider myself a very spiritual guy, and our bodies are designed to heal itself. God knew what he was doing when he created us. I love that our body is a lot smarter than we are sometimes, right? Our body has the ability to improve insulin sensitivity. My goal is to help you to get there, okay? When we eat a diet that's full of ultra processed seed oils, all these things, right? We are constantly elevating our insulin all day long. And if at the end of the day, your insulin is still high, it is called hyperinsulinemia. It means that your body is literally swimming in insulin. Now, the other tool that has helped me tremendously was intermittent fasting. Because intermittent fasting works because it gives your insulin a break. When somebody wakes up in the morning and they eat from morning until sunset or until night, what happens is that your insulin stays elevated throughout the day. But when someone creates a fasting window, insulin finally has time to come down. And when your insulin finally has a chance to come down, your body can now begin accessing the stored fat again, the stored energy, right? Now, here's something that's changed everything for me. The goal is not just weight loss. The goal is metabolic flexibility, okay? A metabolically flexible body can switch between burning glucose and burning your stored energy for fuel. Remember this, your body has two fuel sources, okay? We are either burning food, right? We're burning the sugar from the foods that we're eating, or you are allowing your body to start eating away at the stored energy inside our bodies. And if you can do that, chronic inflammation will come down, right? Your body will start to repair itself, will sleep better, your energy levels will go up. Your blood sugar and your cholesterol levels will start to normalize on its own without the need for these pharmaceuticals, right? So a metabolically flexible body can switch between burning glucose and burning your stored energy. Does that make sense? Now, Many people today have lost that ability because their bodies are relying on constant sugar and carbs. Okay. When your blood sugar drops, people feel terrible because their body's not efficient at burning your stored energy. So improving metabolic health is going to help restore that flexibility. Now, what helped me the most was following a very simple system. Okay. When I wake up in the morning, I skip breakfast and I sip on a chlorogenic tea. Okay. So I follow a simple metabolic protocol. It's designed to support these mechanisms, right? And it focuses on three different areas. And Unforgettable Vibes, thank you for the follow. Okay. It focuses on three areas. Okay. First, stabilizing your blood sugar. Second, it helps to support intermittent fasting so that your insulin levels can come down. And then third, it helps your body to restore that metabolic flexibility so that your body can start eating away at your stored energy. This is why I teach the Feel Great system. It's exactly why I use it. I've been using it for over 2 years. I will never stop using it. And Glenn, UK, thank you for the follow. I will never stop using this. I sip on this in the morning. I sip on this after lunch. Right before my biggest meal of the day, I have this blend of diversified fiber, right? It's a blend of 7 soluble and insoluble fibers. Okay, there's 4 patents on the fiber, so you're not going to just get it anywhere. And there's a patent on this. Andreas, thank you for the follow. So when I use this, and this is what I started using back in January of 2024. And by the way, for those of you that are thinking about getting it, and if you want what I use that has helped me to reverse stage 4 kidney disease and can help increase the insulin sensitivity, okay, folks, I didn't think this was going to work. I didn't. I did not think it was going to work. So when I decided to order it and give it a try, it came with a 90-day money-back guarantee. So on my calendar, on the day that I purchased it, day 87 from now, I put on my calendar, I'm calling the company and I'm canceling and I'm going to get my money back because I didn't think this was going to work. Within a month and a half, I had lost 32 pounds. Some of you might be dealing with headaches or migraines. I had migraine headaches for 23 years. I was in a bicycle accident, not a motorcycle, a bicycle accident. So for the last 23 years, I would have debilitating migraines. And yes, there was really no medication that helped to take away that migraine, right? My doctor was always wanting to give me a shot of Toradol, but now that I only have one kidney, that affects your kidney. So I didn't want to put anything in my body that could potentially affect my body negatively, okay? And so when I started this in January of 2024, okay, my migraines of 23 years went away in the first week, okay? I am super grateful for it. I had no idea what this would even do, okay? I didn't think, number one, that it was going to work. But that was one of the first things I noticed is that my migraines went away. And that was an eye-opener for me. Acid reflux, brain fog, anxiety, sleep apnea, all of these things went improved. And after being on this for 5 months, when I went back to my nephrologist, my kidney doctor says, I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it. Folks, I love talking to people about this. I love helping people to understand what we can start to do to improve our insulin sensitivity, improve our bodies, our health. This is not really a diet. It's a metabolic reset, right? It's designed to support better blood sugar regulation, and it helps to improve insulin resistance. And when people follow this consistently, right? Consistency is key. People often see improvements in their energy and their weight loss, blood sugar stability, without having to rely on meds or diets or crazy exercises. right? Now, a lot of people assume that something like this is expensive, okay? But when you break it down, it comes out to about $5 per day, which is interesting when you think about it, right? When we think about $5 a day, some people might be like, well, that's a lot of money. Well, most people spend more than that on every day, on coffee, on fast food, on snacks, on energy drinks. And unfortunately, those things often make your insulin resistance worse. So when you compare that to diabetes meds or the newer weight loss meds that you think and see people are getting on that cost hundreds or even thousands of dollars, it really puts things into perspective. Now, let me ask everyone watching again. Okay, what is your biggest struggle right now? Okay, type and big Rich Can, thank you for the follow. What's your biggest struggle right now? And I want you to type one word in the chat. Is it energy, weight, cravings, diabetes, or something else? Okay. I always like seeing what people are dealing with. And also, if you wouldn't mind, as you are doing that, also put in the chat, let me know where you guys are tuning in from. Okay. I am in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm always curious where people are located around the world. Now I know I Will Never Comply lives here in Arizona because I happen to knock on their door. Okay, Tamari, Cravings, okay. San Antonio, Ghana, West Africa, Toronto, I love it. I have a lot of people in Toronto. Okay, Jamaica, I love it. South Coast, New Forest, the UK, I love that. The UK is so beautiful. I actually have a lot of customers. Tom, Amy Spar, Wait, okay. Huntington, Indiana, I love that. I love the connections that you can make, right, with people all over the world. And folks, I live here in Mesa, Arizona. I didn't know what insulin resistance is, but I share this for a couple reasons. Okay, this is my dad. I miss my dad. My dad passed away on Easter Sunday, 2017. And one of the reasons why I'm beyond passionate about sharing this with you is because I wish that I would have known this information prior to my dad passing away. I think that my brother, who was 33 when he passed, and my dad, I truly believe that had I known this, there's a chance that they would still be here. Now, this is why I do this, okay? Folks, I'm not here to convince you or to force you to buy the system that I use. If you want it, you're going to notice a difference. And I encourage everybody that gets it, at least give yourself 90 days, because if it doesn't work, all you do is just get your money back. This is a buddy of mine, okay? He was a lot younger than I was, right? I was born in 78. So, he's 5 years younger than me. I'm 47, so he'd be 41, 42 years old. He passed away. This, and this breaks my heart. This is one of the pictures. Okay, if you can see this. Sorry. I'll show it on here. This was this is his wife, and she had all of these kids. Okay, her husband unfortunately passed away. And so he married her not even 2 years ago. Okay. This was Easter last year. He passed away about a week or 2 weeks after Easter from something that could have and should have been prevented. Folks, the reason why I get on here is because I don't want another one of my friends to be in this. I miss my dad. I love my dad. I know that my dad is watching over me. Okay. But this is why I get on here each and every day, because I know that there's people that are struggling with their health and they have no idea that there's even a possibility or hope to start improving their health without relying on these meds. Okay. Now, stay on the live for the next minute because I'm going to explain one breakfast mistake that keeps many people that are stuck in this fat storage mode. Okay. Folks, when someone eats a high sugar breakfast, first thing in the morning, your insulin and your blood sugar are going to spike. It's like a roller coaster. It goes straight up. And that spike can keep your insulin elevated for hours. And for some people, delaying that first meal, right, allowing your body to stay in a fasted state longer, can actually help your insulin to come down. It allows your body to start burning your stored energy. And Tom, I love that. You're already using it. That's awesome. Theon, the one. Thank you for the follow. For those of you who are just joining the live, okay, I'll kind of repeat the main idea. Okay, if someone improves insulin resistance, many health issues that they have start improving. If you're looking at what's in this box up here, folks, everything that you see listed here is caused by insulin resistance. And when someone improves this, when they become insulin sensitive again, okay, energy improves, okay, weight loss becomes easier. Your blood sugar will normalize and stabilize naturally. Your cravings, right? For those, most of us, we're craving sugar and salty foods all the time. That'll actually start to go away. Okay. That's exactly why not only do I use the Feel Great system, but it's exactly why I teach this. Because it is focused on fasting and stabilizing your blood sugar. And folks, if you are not using it, but you want it, okay, feel free to message me. I've included here so that you can, connect with me. I'm happy to send you the information that can help to start improve insulin sensitivity. Now, if you're watching and you're not ready yet, that's completely fine. Okay? Folks, when you understand what insulin resistance is and you understand why our body reacts the way that it does, and most importantly, starts to, help you to not only repair, but hey, folks, we've got to be able to connect the dots, right? If we can't connect the dots, we're not going to be able to solve this problem forever. And thank you for the follow. Okay. I wish that I knew this 10 years ago. By the way, the protocol that I use has been around for over 30 years, but hardly anybody knows about it. Far too often, we are just throwing medications at our symptoms without fixing the root cause. And for those of you, if you can see this, right, the 531-6802, that is the way that you can contact. I'm here in the United States, okay? If you're in a foreign country, okay, there's a app, WhatsApp that you can use, okay? Folks, the reason why this is so personal to me is when you have a family member, and two family members in my case, that passed away early. At one point, I personally was dealing with stage 4 kidney disease. That experience made me realize something really important, okay? And that was most people are treating the symptoms. But the underlying issue for many of us is something called insulin resistance. And once I started learning how to stabilize my blood sugar and lowering my insulin levels naturally, everything begins to change. And the moment you get your insulin under control, everything will start to change. You're going to sleep better at night. If you're somebody who's been trying to lose weight, but everything you do just keep taking 2 steps back, okay, you're going to notice a difference. I wish somebody would have shared this with me years ago. And this is why I teach people this. It's exactly why I created Health Coach Troy. I love talking about it. I love teaching people. And for any one of you that might be watching this, if you are passionate, if you're an entrepreneur, if you love helping people, even if you're not in a medical field, if you are, would love to even more have a conversation with you. But I am looking for people that have a desire to make a difference in people's health. Okay. So Frederica, so stevia is a natural extract of a plant. Okay. It's all natural. Okay. The one, South Africa. Okay. Thank you for being on. Believe it or not, but this system is available in over 60 countries. Africa is one of them. Okay. It is Health Canada approved, folks. And for any one of you that happens to be in Canada or know anything about Canada, Canada is actually one of the hardest countries to get into. This is Health Canada approved. It is NSF certified. Okay. So once you start to learn how you can improve your health, everything changes. Okay. I love that, Frederica. Okay. For those of you that are interested in using it, the best way for you to get that is, if you wouldn't mind, send me a message. I'm happy to, even if you guys want to jump on a call. If you, folks, I don't work with everyone. Okay. If you are just looking for a quick fix, I'm not your guy. Okay. This is a system that works. And if it's used correctly, folks, I'm telling you, it can be an absolute game changer when it comes to improving your health. Okay. So I would encourage you that if you have a desire, if you're wanting to jump on a call, I'm happy to do that. If you have questions, feel free to message me. And I respond to everyone who is willing to send me a message. Okay. My point in getting on here is because 93% of people have insulin resistance. It's affecting millions of people today, and most of the people that even have it don't even know that they have it. Every time you and I eat food, especially sugar and especially carbs, it causes your blood sugar to go up. When your blood sugar goes up, it also causes your insulin to go up. I want you guys to think of insulin like an Uber driver. Okay. When our blood sugar goes up, insulin is like the Uber driver that goes and grabs the glucose out of our bloodstream and it tries to deliver it to our cells. And this is where, I mean, this is normal, right? Your cells allow that glucose to enter in. Okay. So it's like the Uber driver, right? We need energy, right? Energy that powers your brain, your organs. But I want you guys to understand something. Your body has two fuel sources. Your body is either burning sugar from the foods that you are eating, or you are tapping into the stored energy, the stored FAT that might be around your midsection, right? Your love handles. Okay. Okay. When your body switches fuel source, now it starts to get rid of that. This is why it's important to understand why we have these health issues so that you can start connecting the dots. Folks, if insulin is high all the time, you're going to have a really, really hard time improving any aspect of your metabolic health, right? In becoming metabolic flexible, it's going to be really hard. There's a reason why they told us that breakfast was the most important meal of the day, right? That was brought to you by this company to sell you more cereal and bagels, right? How many of you are starting your day with a bowl of cereal? There's a couple books that I recommend. Actually, three. Okay. Fast Like a Girl by Dr. Mindy Pell. She talks about the importance of fasting and how this can play a vital role in your healing. Dr. Robert Lustig wrote a book called Metabolical. Okay. This guy is a nutrition genius. This doctor went to MIT. He's got a medical degree from Cornell. He's got a law degree. He's super smart. He said that the number one fast food restaurant in the world is not what you think it is. Folks, if I asked you what the number one fast food restaurant is in the world, what would you say that is? Would you mind dropping that in the chat? What's the number one fast food restaurant in the world? right? Jackie McDonald's, right? So, Mira, I thought the same thing. What's interesting is Dr. Robert Lustig said that the number one fast food restaurant in the world is our public schools food system, even hospital menus, right? But think about what our kids, your kids, are having when they go to school. They're having a bowl of cereal and a glass of orange juice. And at any given point, folks, in your bloodstream, all you need is about 4 grams of sugar at any given point in your body. It's like one of those little sugar cubes, remember back in the day? And that sugar and that cereal is about 41 grams of sugar, which is 10 times the amount of sugar that even an adult should have in an entire day. And they're having it just in the form of breakfast. Too much sugar in the brain of a child leads to ADHD. Too much sugar in the brain of an adult, Alzheimer's, dementia. Too much sugar in your joints leads to arthritis, your eyes, glaucoma, cavities in your teeth, right? You guys understand the connection, right? And if we're eating foods that have fructose, you are literally taking gasoline and throwing it on a fire. It causes your body to oxidate, right? We're aging faster. The sugar causes us to be even hungrier than we were to start, right? How many of you have ever noticed or ever wondered why, when you go to a restaurant, that they are bringing you chips or bread to start your meal? Because they know that when you eat that bread or those chips, it's going to cause your blood sugar to go through the roof. Your insulin's released to bring this back down. And it's this vicious cycle. You're stacking insulin spike on insulin spike, because here's the truth. Your glucose will go up and down like a rabbit. Insulin, on the other hand, it takes a while before it starts coming down. It's like a turtle. It moves slowly. So by the time your insulin has even started to come down, this is when you are either snacking again or eating again. And so we are constantly keeping our insulin levels elevated. If insulin is elevated when you go to bed, that's a recipe for insomnia. Everything is connected, folks. The last book that I recommend, Why We Get Sick. Why We Get Sick, okay, is, and for those of you that are on this live, okay, this is why I'm putting this here. Bear with me for a second. Okay, this is exactly why I use the Feel Great system. I have it listed right here in the shop. It's exactly why I use this every day. I will never go a day without using this. It has made a huge impact in my metabolic health. And Dean Janowitz, let me know if you have questions. I love talking about it. I love using it. I wish that somebody would have shared this with me even 10 years ago, because maybe my dad would still be here. When I wake up in the morning and I sip on this yerba mate tea, this chlorogenic tea, it tastes amazing. Even kids love it, by the way. But when I sip on this, it's clinically proven to lower your triglycerides, your LDL. Okay. So, Dean, when I wake up in the morning, I skip breakfast. Okay. I skip breakfast and I sip on this. I just sip on this all morning. And what I love about it is it helps to just shut the food noise off. Remember when I talked about giving our body the ability to heal itself, repair itself? When we're going longer periods of time without food, you're allowing your insulin levels to come down. Okay? When insulin comes down, that's when everything changes. This helps to do that. It shuts the food noise off. It's like a light switch is being turned off. Okay? And so I sip on this all morning. And yes, Margie, I even have a type 1 customer who was able to reduce the amount of insulin that he needed. Okay. But when you're sipping on this all morning, okay, you sip on it whenever you're not eating. It does not break your fast. Okay. And even if you're eating, you can still sip on this tea, right? So this is what it looks like daily. Okay. I wake up in the morning. I have my first one, which is what I'm sipping on here. Okay. Sip on this in the morning. And then when it's lunchtime, if I'm hungry, I will have lunch as normal. And then I'm going to make my second one and I'm going to sip on it all afternoon. Because what it does is it helps to shut the food noise. Okay. It helps to reduce the glucose spike and the insulin spikes from the food that you just had for lunch. And then before your biggest meal of the day, you're going to have this blend of fiber. And by the way, this fiber was created by Rexall. Okay. Rexall used to be the biggest drugstore in the world. Okay. Some of you might even remember the Rexall name, right? Rexall Drugs Pharmacy. Okay. They created this fiber back in the late 80s, early 90s. Okay. So this is what I use every single day. I will never stop using it. Okay. I love it. This happens to be listed in the prescriber's digital reference. That's what doctors use. I call it the doctor's Bible because that's where doctors research medications and they write prescriptions. And we are in the PDR as a natural alternative. You guys realize what I just said? Most people, most human beings that I've ever talked to, they don't want to be on a medication if they knew that there was something natural that worked. You can use this as a natural alternative to what your doctors are using. And by the way, your doctor can look this up, okay? Work with your doctor. But when you use this system, you're going to notice a difference. I love talking about it. More importantly, I love using it because when people start to use it, they notice that their energy increases. It's amazing what can happen. I reversed stage 4 kidney disease. I had migraines for a long time that went away. Acid reflux, the brain fog. Folks, when you start to improve insulin sensitivity, it's amazing what can happen. Elevate your health. Thank you for hopping on and for the rose. Appreciate you. Right? You will notice a lot of changes. Your cholesterol, your blood sugar will start to normalize naturally. See, a lot of us are being given these meds to force our body to react a certain way. How many of you are trying to lose weight and maybe you're using some of these GLP-1s, right? How many of you have ever heard of Ozempic or Mounjaro or Wegovy? How many of you have ever heard of that? How many of you have ever heard of metformin? How many of you have ever heard of a statin? Most people are on those. And every person that I've ever talked to, if they knew that there was something that was natural, that did the same thing, they would much rather be on that than something that has known side effects. What I love about the system, the Feel Great system, which is exactly why I teach this, it's in the shop right here. You can try it risk-free for 90 days. If you don't notice any changes at all, no biggie, just cancel. Just get your money back. Dr. Thudo Figder, how are you doing? Okay. And Kara, let me know if you have any questions. Folks, I love using this. I will never, ever, ever stop using it. My goal is to share it and make a difference in as many people's lives as possible. And if you are somebody who's passionate about helping people, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're looking for something, folks, you just found it. I would love to connect with you. I'd love to partner with you, share and show you what it is that we're doing and teach you how we are sharing this with people. Thank you to everyone who's been hopping on tapping the screen. Thank you for that. Are there any questions before I hop off? Thank you guys for being on this live today. I love sharing this. This needs to be in every household. Give yourself 90 days. If you're on the fence, folks, there's no contraindications, so it's safe to take even with your meds, but work with your doctor, okay? Again, your doctor can look this up in the PDR. We are in over 60 countries. We have more than 50 clinical studies done by the Cleveland Clinic, UCLA, Stanford, Brigham Young University in Provo, Utah, Stanford, UNLV, Columbia University, the University of Sydney in Australia. If you've ever heard of the glycemic index, glycemic load, they created that. Folks, I love nothing more than helping people improve their health. The best part is that if you decide to try this, if you don't notice any changes, you just get your money back. You're literally losing nothing. If you are struggling with insulin resistance and you're wondering when it's going to end, right? Most of us probably assume that because we're getting older, that we're supposed to be dealing with these health issues. Aging does not have to mean a slowing metabolism. If you don't notice a difference, folks, I will help you get your money back. But I challenge each and every one of you, give yourself 90 days. Folks, if you can't see on here where it has the list of all the symptoms that are caused by insulin resistance, you notice that it says message me anytime at. That is the way to connect with me. Okay, I will respond to each and every one of you who's willing to connect. Okay. So, Biko, our body has about 4 grams of sugar in our bloodstream at any given point, right? Any more than that, and it sets off our body into fight or flight mode, right? Folks, we are eating all the time, all day. I mean, how many of us were taught to eat 3 meals a day and to snack 2 to 3 times throughout the day? This eating pattern has become ingrained in our daily routine, but very few people that you and I know are in perfect health. While we're living longer, it's not just about longevity, it's about how good you feel as you age. Does that make sense? Our body is amazing. Our body can repair itself and heal itself if we've given it the right environment and the right tools. This is why I use and teach the Feel Great system. It works. And if it doesn't, you just get your money back. Folks, if any of you have any questions, okay, when you click on that, when you send me a message, okay, if you are interested in using this, okay, I will send you my LINK. If you text me, I will send it to you as well. Okay, I'm happy to help any way that I can. Teresa, thank you so much for clicking on that. Let me know if you guys have questions. I see that there's some people. Nomads, saw brain fog and have noticed my blood pressure a little high, but I have lost about 4. I love that. Yeah, and your body will fluctuate, right? William Jules, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. And Fardos Mohammed, thank you for that. Send me a message, okay? Or some of you are actually clicking on it right here in the shop, okay? Kevin, thank you for the follow. I'll stay on for a couple minutes, folks. If any of you have questions on how to place the order,